May 3rd. Don Richardson.
Welcome to 365 Christian Men, where every day we aim to inspire and encourage with real-life stories about men.
At the age of 17, Don Richardson dedicated his life to Christ. After he graduated from Bible college, he and his wife moved to Papua New Guinea, where, for the next 15 years, they served the Sawi tribe. Serving the Sawi was a soft assignment, except for the prevalence of malaria, dysentery, hepatitis, and frequent violence. Also, the Sawi were headhunters, cannibalistic headhunters. That could slow a missionary down, but not Don Richardson. Listen to this.
When tested, sometimes we have to speak up to see God show up. Don Richardson and his wife Carol were drawn to the window of their treehouse home in a small village in the interior of Netherlands, New Guinea. On the ground below, someone wailed, and on their shoulders, several Sawi natives carried a limp body. In the distance, a single voice cried out the news: "Warahai is dead." Richardson went to the house where the Sawi had taken Warahai's body. Sobbing friends and relatives crowded around him. Determined to revive him, they pinched him and they burned him and shouted at him. But Warahai did not open his eyes. But Richardson saw that the man was still breathing. He pressed his fingers to Warahai's wrist and felt a faint pulse. Full of excitement, Richardson tried to tell them that Warahai was not dead, but the Sawi people only gave him blank stares. He couldn't understand why. One of the men explained, "Warahai is still breathing because he is in a condition of apparent life called almame. Sometimes a person's body keeps functioning for a while after his soul has departed, but it doesn't last for long." They believed that if he were alive, he would have woken when they pinched and burned him. Then the sorceress, Aham, confirmed this supposed fact. "Aham has told you, in the name of the demons, that Warahai is already dead." Richardson's voice boomed. "In the name of Jesus, I tell you, he is still alive. Give us time to pray over him and treat him. If he recovers..." Richardson hesitated for a moment, looking at the cold, lifeless-looking body, but he continued, "If Warahai recovers, if he actually opens his eyes and talks to you and takes food, then you will know I have told you the truth about Jesus. But if his pulse stops, you can believe Aham." Some of the men laughed at Richardson. One even commanded that they prepare the body for burial. But Richardson and his wife stayed with him. They treated him with medicine and continued to pray. While they cared for the unconscious man, the next several days crept by and tested the strength of their faith. Sleepless nights, angry relatives, and a scare when Warahai's pulse disappeared completely. Would God heal him? If God intended to heal Warahai, surely he would have healed him by now, they thought. By the 6th day, Richardson decided to stop the medicine. Using it on a man who was going to die, he thought to himself, would unnecessarily deplete their medicine supply. At one point, Carol noted that men in a much better condition than Warahai had died in hospitals, even when they were surrounded by adequate medicine and equipment, and that only a miracle could save him now. They would rely only on prayer. The next day, Richardson was taking a break from watching Warahai when one of the Sawi natives who was watching him shouted. Richardson ran back to the sick room. Bursting through the door, he exclaimed, "How is he?" "He's been talking to us," the Sawi responded. Richardson's heart leapt for joy. Continuing on to the storehouse, he found Warahai reclining against his mother's lap. Richardson greeted him enthusiastically while the onlookers sat in still shocked silence. Celebrating this victory, Don and Carol rejoiced with old and new believers. Their faith remained strong, knowing that God had the power to do all things. 1 John 5:14 says, "And we are sure of this, that he will listen to us whenever we ask him for anything in line with his will." Today, how can you declare your faith in God's life-giving power? When tested, sometimes we have to speak up to see God show up.
Thank you for listening to today's story. Every day of the year, our hope is to inspire you with real-life stories of faithful men who have gone before us. Hebrews 12:1 says, "Therefore, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin that so easily ensnares us. Let us run with endurance the race that is set before us." Join us tomorrow for another story at 365christianmen.com.